Hi, everybody. I'm Anthony Salem, licensed massage therapist, owner of Big Creek Massotherapy, and this is another episode of the CLE Care Collaborators. To my left is Dr. Tonya Yanok of Yanok PT and Gabi Morales of Sweetlime Alterations. Our topic of discussion today is positive body image, how it relates to your mental health and your physical health. And so you might be asking, why do we have a tailor here? Well, we're going to explain that. Gabi, tell us about Sweetlime Alterations.
Sweetlime Alterations, I am the queer tailor at Sweetlime, and I identify as the queer tailor in that position because I see queer tailoring as a much wider concept of tailoring, where it's both it's queer, also trans friendly. We try to create a very positive space for however people may feel in their bodies, and create a very safe space, and just make sure people feel good in the clothes that they're wearing when they leave.
Yep. I've had some tailoring done with her, which was great. Both Anthony and I lament about the problems of fitting into some of the clothes that are meant for certain shapes, and we are not those certain shapes. So it's nice to go in and take something we want to wear but doesn't quite fit us just right, and she can fit it to, fit our bodies in a way that we feel comfortable, as opposed to feeling like we aren't the right body type. And I think that's where a lot of people get caught up, is there's these, it's kind of, cookie cutter almost what they expect us to look like, and we're like, nope, we're not cookie cutter. So I'm queer, but he's, well, whatever you want to identify as, but even with that, it's just our body types are different, and it's nice to go into a space where you can, make sure things fit in a way that make you feel good.
Without judgment from anybody. It's a, I guess you could say, hot topic more and more these days, body positivity. What the magazines tell us, for men and women. The magazines portray women as a size 0 and men as perfect abs and super square jawlines. That's just not the reality. We're not all shaped the same. For my body type, my build, I'm a bigger guy. Buying clothes off the rack is hard. It's either too tight on my chest, too tight on my belly, or sleeves too short, neck doesn't, So.
But I think you're so right of how you get these kind of things where it's like, it fits here, it doesn't fit here, and it makes you feel like something's wrong with your body.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I start feeling I'm too fat.
Yeah, and
I gotta get,
and instead of focusing on what you need to change about yourself, it's okay. Well, let's look at what we can change and what this manufacturer decided is a base size, is the go-to size, or go-to shape, which is it doesn't fit most people. But it makes us all feel like we're abnormal for not fitting into their ideal image,
It's very true. What was your inspiration to start your business?
I think the seed did start working in a corporate environment where there literally was the base sizes that we had to go by, like certain size 8, certain size 40 for men, like these these perfect, 36, 34, 36 for women.
I think it's 24. 36,
yeah,
24.
But then even then what I did was, it's called grading, where you take the base size and you grow the shape to different sizes, grow or shrink it, and there was no shift in when you get to a bigger size, it was still that same proportion. Or when you get to a smaller size, it was still that same proportion, and it would drive me nuts just doing that, because I'm like, this isn't right. Like, nobody looks like this. Yeah. But I had to do what I was told. Yeah. What was the structure? What was the way it was supposed to be? And eventually I left that space, and when I came to Cleveland, because I was in Chicago, when I came to Cleveland, I was more getting into queer communities and meeting more queer folks, and what sparked it a lot was meeting queer women or lesbian women who wanted to wear men's vests, and
yeah.
they were like,
and then the boobs do not
yeah,
go with the vest.
They were like, that my breasts make even if they wore a binder, that it would buckle in the armpit. It just wouldn't look right, and they wouldn't feel confident in it. And they would ask me if that was something I could do, and at the time I was working for somebody else. So I was like, I guess if I could in theory. And so then it became something that I was just like, okay, this has come up enough times that I can do something about it, and why not? I had a sewing machine and a car to do house calls at the time. So
that's really cool.
So that's kind of where it started.
Yeah, and with that was it the growing or shrinking based off the base size? Like me, because I have muscular thighs and I have a lot of friends that have that, and like the whole 36, 24, 36 thing is hilarious because my thighs are 24 inches, so like I am not fitting that. But like if you grow it, then my waist is actually smaller compared to what that grow, shrink, or whatever. And it's been interesting because there's a lot of athletic people that have the same problem, and it's, they're actually more fit than a lot of people, and yet they're still feeling like they have the wrong shape, or their legs are too big, or their butt's too big, or I don't even know.
I do get a lot of men, or like cis men, who feel very uncomfortable, and being in the safe space that is the shop, you can kind of see their discomfort, like I know nothing fits my calves right, or nothing fits my my hips or something, and it's like, no, like we can fit around that. Like we can make it work.
I'm glad you pointed that out. Even in normal clothing, mainstream clothing, jeans and slacks, if you have thighs for a man, everything's skinny fit these days.
Oh yeah.
Even at one point I lost a lot of weight, and I was under 200 pounds for the first time ever as an adult. Obviously I didn't keep that going, as you can see.
And
but
that's okay.
but I'm very comfortable getting comfortable in my body. That's why we're doing this video. But I went to buy new jeans because I'd lost all this weight. But I was working out, so my thighs were like,
Yep.
And skinny jeans don't work. Because there is an image out there. It's all this, all that. Even taking my daughter, who's 13, to get shoes at the shoe store, they think everyone's feet are like this wide.
Yeah.
It even goes down to the feet. And
something must be wrong with my feet.
and then everyone says my feet are too wide. And as far as even physical fitness, I hear it a lot since I'm a massage therapist. The subject comes up with chatty clients. Not everybody's quiet when they get a massage.
Yeah.
Start talking about exercise. Then they'll say, it's mostly women who say this though, it's I don't say, do you think about weight training? And well, I don't want to get too bulky.
Oh yeah, I hear that a lot too as a BT.
I don't want to be too muscly. What's wrong with muscle?
And it would take a lot to bulk up as well. So for those watching, it's not. You'd have to be doing some high weights and high weight and low reps, but some pretty heavy duty lifting to bulk up. Actually toning up your muscles will actually look you leaner. And
there's protein intake and how much you're lifting, but there's nothing wrong with having muscle. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having a different body type. We're not all going to be perfect.
And our bodies change.
Yeah.
Like, I get that a lot of, like, I don't have the same body I had when I was 21 or when I was 17. It's like,
it shifts.
I'm glad you don't. You probably shouldn't. I don't know how healthy that would be.
Let me tell you something. I weigh around the same as I did when I graduated high school, but it's in different places now.
Exactly. No, that's such a thing too. I weigh the same, but I look different and feeling weird about that, and it's our bodies change, and that's kind of beautiful and okay.
Especially mothers. Like, that's a huge thing. They're like trying to get your body back, and I saw something that said, I never lost my body, and I love that because I'm like, you are a mother, you've had a child, like, yes, you're going to have some stretch marks, and maybe your belly's not the same, but that's okay. Like, that's kind of like
it's part of the process.
Yeah, the changes we have.
It's still beautiful.
Yeah.
You know what? It kind of irritates me when you walk into the supermarket and you see the magazines, and how how did so and so celebrity get their body back after the binge? It's because they're rich and they have a personal chef and a trainer and liposuction.
Yeah.
That's how. And then we see this,
Yeah.
and
then
women
we feel
see
bad.
this, and they think I happen to have a six-pack after I have a baby. You know.
Yep.
So just don't look at those magazines.
So what tips do you have, so say someone is identifying with this and saying, oh my gosh, yeah, I buy clothes for, if they were to come to you, like what tips would you give them when they're shopping for clothes or looking for clothes, and how would they best get like a good result from like the tailoring to a fit that would make them feel very comfortable?
The top tip that I give the most is buy to fit your widest measurement. So if you have a big booty, like fit that. If you have a smaller waist, then I can take in the waist. Because it's easier to take in than it is to take out, and I try to get that into everybody's head to make sure that they know that it's pricier to. I can always let out. I can always add fabric.
That's true.
But it does on the pricier side, and I like to be in a position to save people money if I can, or have reasonable prices. But if you want to spend it, that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always suggest that buy for your biggest measurement. If you have wide shoulders, or longer arms, make sure everything is fitting.
The longer or the
length
widest.
or the wider, yeah.
Okay. And then you can take in from there and mold it to your body just the way you want it.
Yeah, and always both ways. Like I'll try to make it work no matter what the case is. But yeah, those are usually most helpful for me. But
what have you seen? What were the impacts that you've seen with the tailoring? Like, have you seen like mental and physical, like, impacts on people for being able to wear something that they're comfortable in?
I've seen a lot of people finding a new love in shopping.
That's cool.
Where they felt really miserable going shopping originally, and once they learned that they can bring stuff to me and have them altered and shifted to feel comfortable in the piece, then they find a new love, find a new habit. But just, you know what, I see a very physical thing where when people first come in and bring something that they don't feel comfortable in, they're kind of slouching. They're like, it's me, something's wrong with me. Things always fit like this, I don't know what to do. And by the time I'm done pinning, and then by the time they pick up, like they're literally standing straighter. Like literally, like just, they look happier. They look more comfortable in what they're in. And that just it makes a big difference. And it makes me really happy to know that they are leaving the space carrying that with them.
Yeah, so you might actually be saving some people some neck and back pain because you're stopping because that's what,
I like that.
the foundation of what I teach people as a PT, like stand up taller. And a lot of times if they're like always kind of that defeated, like, because the mind and body, I always say it is connected. So if you feel depressed or anxious or whatever, you're gonna draw in, you're gonna slouch, you're gonna hang your head down. So, and that all that curve, impacts your back, that impacts your shoulders, your neck, your jaw, like all of those things. So everyone's like, well, what does that have to do with your physical fitness? I'm like, oh my gosh. And then if you feel better, then you're more motivated, and then you might want to like go outside or go work out and not feel so uncomfortable going to the gym or running outside, even if you're not a
I
runner.
do quite a few yoga pants too.
Oh, that's awesome. See, yeah.
You feel good in your yoga pants.
Yeah.
Your comfort in your own skin and your own body does have a lot to do with posture and everything. I've noticed that very tall women tend to slouch a lot because they're ashamed.
I've known quite a few just people who are taller than most people around them. I mean, I grew up in it was a very Hispanic neighborhood, and we were all within 5 and 6 feet. So just being closer to that 6 foot, I saw a lot of men.
Wow.
They do.
But
some of it's gravity, but some of it is. I don't know if it happens as much to guys being taunted for their height. Maybe it does, but I know girls, especially in school, because kids are mean.
Yeah.
A girl who's taller than everybody else will get taunted, which will cause her to try and make herself smaller.
Or she's trying to date, and guys don't want to date taller than them, or actually, yeah.
But then we get into the shaming. It's a hot word now, body shaming. We shame people for being too tall, being too thick, and being too skinny.
Yeah.
How many times have we told someone, "Oh, you're so skinny.
Gotta eat a hamburger. Like,
go
stop
eat
it."
something. You know, we wonder why
Like, you
people.
think I didn't look in the mirror today?
Yeah. Let's just not drive this home.
Yeah.
You said you hold yourself taller and with better posture, and you just feel better, and then that energy, like, you actually have more energy and you connect better, I think, with other people. And then that emotional part is, it reduces the anxiety and all of that. And I'm not sure how much you see that. It sounds like you see that even just when they pick up and they feel good in what they picked up, and you're like, oh my gosh, I do feel great in this. This does fit me great. I'm not sure if you can touch on more what you've seen emotionally.
I know it's tricky because you don't see them.
Yeah, they're not
For
telling you.
periods.
Yeah.
But it is cool to see when people become regulars, and you can kind of see a shift in their confidence.
Yeah, so from the first time you see them to, like, they keep coming back, and then they're coming in feeling happier.
Yeah, and I definitely don't want to take all that credit, because it does go to that of after so long of listening to other people having something to say about them, and finally telling themselves, like, okay, at the very least I can take little steps to make myself feel better for myself.
Yeah.
So like getting my clothes altered to fit me more comfortably, calling the physical therapist, making an appointment, getting a massage. Like these are little things that we can take steps for ourselves to feel better. And so I think if they've started to call me, they probably started to make these other calls too.
That's a great point. Yeah, they don't feel as self-defeated, or
they'll make.
If that's the right.
They're starting to
phrase.
make that effort for themselves, because nobody else is doing that for them.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's telling them to get it done for them. So I think even just taking those steps starts a transition.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard to say if how much that translates in the regular world.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've definitely noticed some shifts with people, their confidence levels and things like that.
That's great.
But
I wonder if you could do a questionnaire or something.
I know, right? Maybe.
I feel like, yeah. Although you can't really ask them too much personal information. Maybe make it a blind one.
Do you feel better?
Yeah.
I'll speak firsthand, because my weight shifts all the time.
Mm-hmm. I think most people's does.
I mean,
Mine
like,
yeah.
swings like back and forth. So
I call it winter fluff.
Yeah.
I've got my winter fluff.
So it's very disheartening when you put something on and you feel like a sausage spilling out of its casing.
Yeah.
Your love handles are hanging over. So it's hard to maintain a positive thoughts about your body when one, your clothes aren't comfortable, and two, you look in the mirror and go, wow, I look awful. So it helps your psyche to fit into your clothing, but it goes beyond too to just be comfortable with who you are, because we get defeated. We feel defeated. We work really hard and try and eat right, and it doesn't help that they hide sugar in everything.
Yeah, literally.
But don't fall for the marketing tricks. There's sugar in everything. Read the labels.
Yeah, read the ingredients, please. Even the stuff that's supposedly healthy.
But people don't want to. They just give up. I don't want to exercise because it's not working.
Mm-hmm.
Or I've heard from people in casual conversation. Well, I'm gonna lose a little weight before I start exercising, which is weird.
Yeah.
But I think what I'd like to see is more people be okay with their bodies, but still want to get moving and get their blood flowing and get some exercise, but just worry about their blood pressure, their heart rate, whether or not they're diabetic or pre-diabetic. Worry about that, and don't be obsessed with having the perfect hourglass shape or chiseled pecs and abs. Lord knows I don't have them. But I mean, right, is doctor right here, so she'll tell you what's more important.
Yeah, definitely the health, and I even tell all my clients that is to make sure, like, I don't typically, if I establish some health goals with my clients, it's more about their measurements, but usually 90% of it is focused around their functional goals. Like, how do you feel? Like, let's get your, if they are battling some like blood pressure or anything like that, let's get that down. And then hey, did you want to be able to hike for 3 miles? Like, can you get there? Okay, right now you have to take a break, or you want to bike for so long and you have to take breaks or can't do it because it's painful, or you get out of breath, or you just get fatigued. Let's get you to that point, so then you have the energy to keep doing that. And the mental portion of that is huge, because going back, if you feel confident, then you're going to go out, you might have more energy. Then you have more energy to like, okay, I want to go for a bike ride. Whereas if you feel defeated, we've probably all had those days where I'm like, ugh, I suck, that. I'm just going to go lay down in bed or just sit on the couch because I just can't even cope with anything. We all have those really bad days, but if we can find ways to tap into that positive energy and that, positive outlook, then that it's the momentum towards better things. And then you can get on the bike, which is going to, not that weight is everything, but it goes back to the blood pressure. It goes back to those vital signs that are very important, that, you can be any weight, but if you have high blood pressure, that increases your chance of stroke and all sorts of myriad of issues, or high cholesterol. So,
and I think that's where the tie-in with the having the positive body image ties into our physical health. So we get obsessive, and then we perceive what we're doing isn't working. We feel like a failure, give up. Yeah. And pardon my language, some throw up and say screw it. So so you don't, if you look in the mirror and you still see a little love handles there and this, but you go to the doctor and your blood pressure is perfect, and your cholesterol is good, and your blood sugar is good, your ankles aren't turning purple, doing something right. If your clothes are a little snug, you're a little too big, you go see Gabi and she'll fix them for you.
Yep.
But,
so you focus on the positive instead of focusing on the negative, which most of it's made up anyways, because we're not all cookie cutters. So, and we're gonna have our fluctuations, and that's okay. Like, it's okay that we have a little bit more to eat over the holidays. Like, I think we do need that kind of yearly, like, just let it all go. Like, maybe not go totally crazy, but let go of that. We have to always do this, because I think at a certain point there's a mental fatigue and a physical fatigue with all that. Like, have some fun, let it go, and then kind of get back into the swing of things. But it's okay to have that little bit of fluctuation, as long as it's you're mentally and physically healthy with it.
So how do you two feel about the crazy marketing workout videos and the personal training? I love personal trainers, don't get me wrong, but there's these camps popping up, and the boot camps, and it's always about getting the sexy rear end and getting the blast off the fat in 60 days. And
I mean, I think it's just how you said it. It's marketing.
Yeah.
It's what's gonna reach our eyes the fastest and hardest, and not actual, like, we have to on some level know that it's not accurate. It's not gonna do this thing. But if it gets us moving, if that's what works for you, that's what works for you.
Or it does work and it's temporary.
Or it's probably temporary.
I feel like it.
I feel
like not everybody can handle the physical demands, but they're so obsessed with losing the weight that they end up getting injured.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. A lot of like of pain and body image, because I have fibromyalgia, but then I think of like that, like, if you push yourself so hard to reach this body image that you want, and you just end up finding more pain, literal and figuratively, I'm kind of curious on how you all, how have you kind of seen pain and body image?
That's very true. Well, yes, because when I'm talking to my clients, I've noticed, I always tell my clients the body and mind are hand in hand. So a lot, and that's what we're talking about, is how if you feel defeated, then it's, then you're not going to have that. But then you go the other extreme, which I do treat athletes and stuff, and they're trying so hard that they're not hitting that perfect, they didn't blast off all that fat on their butt, or they did, but they're they went through it without having a balanced muscular system, so now they have all these itises, and then they feel defeated because now they can't run or they can't bike because now they have to take a break because they did all that, and now the weight's coming right back because they just had to go hit it hard. And a lot of those programs assume that you are in perfect health, and so many people have, either, even if it's not health conditions, maybe like they've been sedentary for the last few months, and then suddenly they're going to hit it hard and they're not ready for that, and then they feel, I see people ping pong, like they're not doing anything and then they do something really hard, which then they get injured, so then they go back to nothing, so then it's that downward spiral of feeling defeated. And it's the pain of feeling, not good enough, so then I'm going to go hit it hard, but then it's painful, so then you're literally swinging back and forth. And that's just, I've seen people go down that downward spiral, and part of what I do with my clients is trying to pull them back out of that and say, okay, let's look at smaller steps. Let's not go 0 to 60. Let's work on very simple foundational stuff, and that starts to build strength around their spine and their joints, which some of it's boring and they hate it because it's this, they're like, no, I want to sweat and burn the fat off, and I'm like, yes, but your poor little core is like a little slinky, and we have to do some really basic exercises to get that core and those hips and stuff built up so that they can handle the impact of running or all these plyometrics where you're jumping all over the place. And that's,
I hate those.
yeah, which they're great. High interval.
I'm 40 and I'm over 200 pounds. I don't jump.
Maybe I need to give you some exercises. Build some support around those
I know
joints.
You talk about it, I'm like, oh, I want to do something. But I think it's such a shout out back to personal trainers of that's why you need someone who can talk to you and see what exactly is your routine and what fits your body.
A well-educated, a well-educated trainer who knows how to work around injuries and wear and tear. Mm-hmm. For a lot of people, it's better than a workout class where you want to compete with everybody in there and do just what everybody else is doing. Maybe your body's not ready for that, which then goes back to you feeling defeated and feeling sad. And so where do you find the line between being comfortable with your body but not letting your health suffer? Like, I don't mind being this size, but you can't be living off of Twinkies and Ho-Hos. Yeah. No offense, hostess.
I'm like, hey, I like mine.
I mean, I think we can always look at life like a journey. Like, yes, you can. I think it's healthy to always have goals. Like, you don't want to always just, sometimes it's nice to settle for what you have for a little bit, but you should. It's actually been shown that it's healthy to always have some sort of goal, and some of them are going to be physical or, some sort of personal thing. And if you can accept, okay, here I am right now, and that's okay. And here's a goal I'm trying to reach, and that's okay. And I need to take care of myself in that process. But you also have to make sure that those goals are things that you actually want and need, and not because it's some image or some expectation external of you. Like, maybe it takes time to look at your values and what's really important. Like, do I care if I don't think I've ever had a 24-inch waist since I was like 10. I don't even know. Like, 24-inch waist, what does that even mean?
I was
like,
born with a 24.
Yeah, I know. But do I want to be able to go travel and, hike up a giant mountain and spend the entire day doing that and spend time with my friends doing that? That's a huge value to me. So what do I need to do that? So I think a lot of people are grasping at these goals and not stopping to think about, like, what do I want? What do I need? What do I value? And, okay, based off of that, do my goals align with that, or am I just grasping at this out of insecurity or, expectations external that don't really
That's
matter.
what I feel like. If you focus on the health, how do you feel? Again, blood pressure, sugar, and cholesterol. So get your regular checkups.
Yes.
And don't obsess about weight, especially if you're weight training, because muscle weighs more than fat, and
that's why I go off of measurements and not the scale, because I'll have people changing their habits and starting to work out, and they're like, I'm actually gaining weight, but then I'll be track your measurements, or I'll be tracking them, and they will start to change, and actually a lot of times change dramatically, but they don't even realize it because they've been so obsessed with the number on the scale, and the number on the scale doesn't mean anything. And even BMI has been proven, especially with people that are more active, to not mean anything. And there's differences in body type. So like maybe for very generic, but like the BMI is kind of not.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, it's kind of garbage, especially like you. Like, I'm not gonna consider all of us. I think all of us would be considered overweight on the BMI. I know. I don't know if you are, but I know for a fact I am because I've checked it.
I'm a big guy.
Sure
I have a belly.
Yeah.
I've been big
but you
most
have
of my
muscle
life.
too, and that weighs more than fat, and a lot of people don't realize that. So
True.
you'll start toning up and losing fat.
And when I see you, all I see is shoulder muscle.
Yeah, I know.
Well, like I told, I think before we officially started the video, I had mentioned that I was really fit and thin about 5 years ago. Thin for me was 195 pounds. If I was any less, I would have looked like a stick with a push pin. Big head, skinny body. So, not that I'm making excuses, but really my diet started to go out of control. I was really tracking my food and all that boring stuff. Eating egg whites and tuna for breakfast.
I feel like that's such a form of
it's torture.
self-harm.
Yeah.
It is.
But it
really
felt
is
good.
Like forcing diets on ourselves.
Yeah, but it was healthy eating and working out, and I was really so fast forward, and I opened Big Creek Massotherapy, and it being a small business owner working 1,000 hours a week, diet went out the window. So where I'm at now, and I'm going to tell this because people say guys don't care, they can be no, we care.
Yeah.
Our egos
you
are
just don't
fragile.
talk about it.
Right. Guys don't generally sit together and oh, George, I'm getting so fat. We don't do that, but we care. So the worst than gaining the weight, actually gaining back more weight than what I'd lost initially, so going from 240 to 195 to 263 in a course of like a 5-year period. Worse than that was how I felt physically. I got sick more often. Sorry to go here, but things in the bathroom weren't going as well. That's a good indicator of your health.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah. So that's as clean as I can make that. I think that was okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, blood pressure started to climb, and more tired. Like I said, sick more often. So I started to clean that up, and I'm still a large person. I'm like just under 250 right now. But I feel good. I'm moving. I exercise 3 days a week. I limit my sugar intake. I'm still trying to get my head in the space where I feel comfortable with this body. Like I said, guys think about that too. And I have an awesome wife who's she tells me how handsome I am and how much she loves me and how great I look. And I think a lot of us have supportive partners like that. But we still have trouble because of what society has pushed into our brains. We have trouble accepting that when people tell us,
It's true.
And because there aren't a whole lot of people speaking to the cis man who feels this way and like, oh, I'm fine, I'm just but there are ways to just help you feel a little better about that. But I think going back to like diet speech, even when we talk about it to ourselves, like I should really do this, it's like speaking these words out loud sometimes, like, well, it's okay for you to get that out. Sometimes like people hear us and it's like, should I be on a diet? Should I be concerned about this? Should I be doing this to my body? And I think that's something that also should be considered when we're like, it's good to talk when we're concerned for ourselves, but I definitely have
How is it impacting others maybe?
Yeah.
Especially like mothers, like that's a big thing, especially if they have any children. Like you said, it affects guys too, boys too, but being careful what you say in front of your children, because if you're saying like, I'm terrible, I'm this, I need to eat this, I need to not eat that, they're gonna absorb. They're little sponges. They absorb all that. So then they're wondering like, why are they having eating disorder? And they're 8 or 12 or whatever. So that's where it's coming from. Is not just society, but then we don't realize it, but they're absorbing all of that, or our partners, or our friends, or Because I'm looking at the friends saying, oh, I suck and I should be faster and fitter and, you know, way less. And I'm like, oh, you're smaller and faster than me. So then I must be a rhinoceros. So then that makes me feel bad. And they don't even realize I've actually said this to some people that are close to me that they were saying that. And I'm like, do you understand how that makes me feel? And they're like, they're like, oh, I didn't know. You're wonderful and beautiful and, you know, fit. And I'm like, but think about what you're saying. If you are, you know, actually compared to me, more fit and thinner.
What we do run into on the topic of self-shaming is kind of some ridiculous stuff. From, oh, my feet are ugly, don't look at them.
Yeah, or, I hear that, feet are huge. I don't know what it is with their feet.
Or, oh, I didn't shave today, I'm so embarrassed.
That's another biggie.
Like,
I don't know
we're not judging you. You can come in here looking like Sasquatch.
Yeah.
I don't care if you shaved or not. I don't care if your toenails are polished.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
They don't match.
It doesn't.
Go back to the clothing. Like, some people be like, oh,
matters.
I'm just here in my scrubby clothes. I'm like, you're here to, like, work on yourself and work out or whatever, of course.
But people make those types of comments, especially the feet. Like, oh, I got weird toes, or
or they've lost toes because the crazy ultra runners lose their toes.
So is this an opportunity to say, yes, we definitely cater to people with disabilities?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that we cater to everybody. There's no judgment here. I've had people in the peak physical condition, bodybuilders, and I've had customers that were 500 pounds. I'm not going to judge you. Neither is the staff here. Everyone is a human being who needs our help.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter what you have or what you don't have or how you're shaped. We're here to take care of you and make you feel comfortable. So don't worry.
Same.
Yeah.
And it is interesting in Cleveland though. I think there was a lot of ADA movement in the 90s in Chicago, so it was different when I came here, and the biggest thing I noticed was there's very few ramps.
Oh, I never
Very few ramps. And even when I had the maintenance guy put one in, and he was like, this is gonna change everything. he was like the other storefronts are gonna be so jealous. I'm like we should all be making efforts to make sure that people know that they are welcome in the space, no matter what their situation might be. But understanding that it's tricky, like getting bathrooms ADA accessible. But little things to let them know, like whatever your body situation might be.
Sure. And we've had customers with ostomy and everything. It's we're going to keep those things private, so you don't need to be ashamed about that either. And if you need help getting on the table, we can help you get on the table. Or you bring a family member if it makes you more comfortable. That's just for us personally. So it shouldn't be anything that should keep you from getting a service that makes you feel better. So, but this is not a commercial for me.
Yeah.
But
we like to support the local businesses, and we appreciate people that are, that's why it's Cleveland Care Collaborators, and we're going a little outside the box because I think people just focus on just the physical and just the specific, like the typical healthcare stuff. We don't think about how other things impact us, but places like yours are helping people become more comfortable, which impacts them mentally and physically and emotionally, which is huge, and we love supporting local businesses that do exactly that.
Exactly.
So
shop local.
Please shop local, please.
Yes. So, but there's definitely a tie between mental health and physical health.
Huge, yeah.
And how we perceive our bodies is tied into our mental health.
Yep.
And from what we were talking about earlier about not wanting to go exercise because you feel broken down and defeated, to just what being depressed does to your body chemically, and it makes changes. There could be no physical injury whatsoever, but just being in that state of mind, you'll start having physical manifestations of it. So
I can speak to that with fibromyalgia.
Yeah.
The more depressed I get, the more the pain gets. and being able to keep that in check and
Yep.
being in touch with the massage therapist.
Yeah.
And you were super helpful.
Thank you very
Gave
much.
me tips that I still use today.
Awesome. Yeah.
So
brings that pain down.
when I said at the beginning, if you're wondering why a tailor is here with the Cleveland Care Collaborators, now you know why. Because Gabi helps people feel better about themselves by making their clothes fit.
I feel confident.
Feel
Yeah.
confident.
Ooh,
Confidence.
should we say why how you both learned about me, or like what you
How
brought?
did I learn about you? I think I just learned about you on Facebook, but I came to you because I needed an Ariel's costume adjusted so that I could.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because-
oh my god, I forgot all about that.
Yeah,
That
the
was
wolf
so cute.
costume.
It was a wolf costume, and that's super queer. And it's like that's
Yeah.
how I see it. Is like
It's circus
things
art.
that
It's
are
like
not super typical.
yeah. I'm like, can you make this dress into basically a leotard? She's like, sure. And she made it work, and it was amazing. So it was
It was
just,
so
and it fit me
cute.
perfect. And like, if I would have tried to, all the little leotards are made for tiny little dancer bodies, and I'm like, I have these thighs. Like, I am not a dancer body. Like, I don't even think they make the size that. I don't know. I was trying out all sorts of stuff, and it was just not working. And it has to work while I'm tangled up in fabric up in the air. Like, so I found something that I'm like, if this was just turned into pants with these different alterations, but that's a lot, and I don't even know how to do that. Brought it to you, and you're like, sure, and it worked out. I've actually worn it for 2 different performances, and it's actually become they called it Wolfie, and there's actually some little kids that ask if Wolfie is coming back.
Oh my
like,
gosh.
yeah, that warmed my heart when some of the aerialists told me that. They're like, "Where's Wolfie?" You know.
That's so
It's
cute.
been a couple years now, but so they probably don't remember. But it was really cool to hear about that. But yeah, it was really awesome to have. Like, everyone's looking at me like, what? You need a costume to be a leotard that looks like a wolf? Like, what is
Right?
that?
I want to see a picture of this.
Yeah, oh yeah, I have pictures.
Because
We
that
can
sounds
show 'em,
awesome.
Yeah.
Should have it
Yeah.
pop up on the video.
Yeah, maybe I can edit that if I can get my editing skills in.
Right.
We're both newbies. But
Well, I
see if
found
can
her
picture.
because, okay, so I'll try and make this a short story. So I started a new band. I sing, which you can find clips of me singing from one of my old bands on YouTube, the Black River Boys. We were a Civil War period correct string band.
That's amazing.
Mostly period correct. But that broke
That's
up.
also a little different.
That broke up a while ago. I used to do Civil War reenacting, and I had all my historical clothing. None of it fits right now. But so I started this new band, and we had our first gig with the public together, Christmas in Zor, which is a lovely event. You should all go to it next year. And I was telling the guys, I've played this event many times before, and I used to dress up in historic clothing. And I said, but we don't have to. And they were like, well, we want to. I was like, okay, I mean, I need new stuff. So when you buy these historical reproductions, they come in one length, like super long. And I said, I need to find someone to fix these pants for me. And looking for tailors, a lot of the reviews weren't so good. And then I stumbled upon Sweetlime Alterations. She has great reviews on Google. And the website caught my eye. And I thought, this is someone I can go take these weirdo pants to. And she's not going to look at me funny. Like, what is this? Like, it's a costume, you know? So she did a great job, you know? So it's just something simple like, and I had another pair of traditional pants that were hemmed too high, so she fixed those for me and made them look awesome. So when you buy a suit and the place does the alterations for you, they don't always do it right. So
Yeah.
just buy the suit,
Yeah.
take it to her, and she'll do it right. So that's how I found her. But all the stuff on the website caught my eye, the queer tailor, the no judgment, the body positive. And I'm like, this is a really cool business. I'm going to go check it out. That's how I found her.
Mhm.
So
So where are you located?
I'm located in Tremont, in the Tremont neighborhood.
Of Cleveland.
Of
So,
Cleveland,
yeah,
of
Not
Cleveland.
everyone's around.
It's at 2671 West 14th Street. It is, it's
buy a
Right.
cookie and a cupcake.
it was right in between Cookie and a Cupcake and Trio now.
Yeah.
Used to be
Yeah.
Oh,
both.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, right off of 71, off of 480, off of 90, so right off all the highways. So
Awesome.
Yeah,
And
very
this-
easy to get to.
What's the best way to contact you?
Probably by phone, 216-258-4055. Or you can click the contact form on the website, and that'll email me.
And what's the website?
Sweetlimealterations.com,
Awesome.
and that's Sweetlime,
Yeah.
Lime, all one word.
Great. Awesome. Well, we're happy to have you. This is awesome
Yeah, thanks for
conversation.
coming.
I'm so glad you all had me.
Yeah,
Thank you
of
so
course.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So come check her out, and then
I love both of your stories because they
Oh.
they do both like really kind of encompass like what queer tailoring ended up being.
Yeah.
Like it was so niche to people when I first started presenting it, but it became this much broader thing of like just be in a space that won't give you a funny look for bringing in like
a weird
period
costume.
clothes or a wolf costume, and asks few questions.
Yeah, exactly. You ask the questions
Tell me
you need
what
to
you
ask.
need.
I was like, I want to do this, and this. She's like, okay. That's fine.
So yes, I really appreciate hearing your
So
stories.
all my old Civil War reenactor friends,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't fit.
there's a market, Civil War reenactor, let me tell you. The
I
money these people spend, and they're historically correct. I've
Yeah,
seen
that's
people
gotta-
buy $60 wool socks. I mean, it's crazy.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
See, there's money to be made. No, seriously.
Not to make it
Yeah.
no judgment.
No, but
That's cool.
yeah, it's a neat little shop too. I love the way she has it painted.
Yeah,
It's
fun
just-
colors.
Yeah, it's fun colors, and you really feel comfortable there. And you wouldn't think that's important, just getting some pants hem, but it's very important to feel comfortable wherever you go. And you're supporting a local small business owner. All three of us are small business owners. And while you're in the neighborhood, visit one of the other local businesses too.
There's a lot of great ones.
Don't go to Starbucks for your coffee. There's like 4 coffee shops in
Yeah.
Tremont.
Civilizations and
Really,
loop.
yeah.
Great places.
So it's good for your soul and it's good for the local economy.
Yes. Great.
Right.
It's been a great episode. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gabby.
Thank you.
See you later.